It's our tradition at the end of each year to bid a fond hail and farewell to those who have touched us in all sorts of ways, on screen, in music, in books, and in our everyday lives.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow.
Pain and sorrow. The calling cards of 2020. Lean on Me by Bill Withers provided us reassurance that tomorrow may be better.
Now you just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand.
Although Bill Withers left us at 81, his notes of solace helped during a year that wasn't even a month old before grief was already setting in.
Call me.
The death of 41-year-old Kobe Bryant, the LA Lakers phenom, along with his 13-year-old daughter and 7 others, stunned everyone, basketball fans or not.
Kobe was my dear friend. He was like a little brother.
His passing became a moment of rare unity this year, with people from all walks of life joining together to both celebrate and to mourn.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
COVID was
You never know what you're going to get.
certainly the box we all wished we never got.
Let me say this, being an idiot is no box of chocolates, because I reckon I done live a pretty interesting life.
But Winston Groom, who created Forrest Gump, reminded us through that character that challenges exist to be overcome.
Mama always said dying was a part of life.
You don't have to be rich, you don't have to be smart, you don't have to be famous to be dignified.
Dignity for Black Americans remained an unfinished struggle this year. The deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, just to name a few, rekindled a movement for equality and justice not seen since the 1960s.
I got in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble.
Congressman John Lewis was still fighting, right to the end.
All of the suffering, all of the pain, the beating, the tear gas, it was worth it. If I had it to do it all over again, I would march the same way.
A special report from CBS News. Testament of a murdered man.
Medgar Evers had dedicated 9 years of his life to the war against racism. Now he is dead in battle.
After his brother Medgar was assassinated by white supremacists, Charles Evers tried to make change from within, running for Congress, then becoming a mayor.
It's not for revenge, but to carry on to fight for freedom for all mankind, regardless of race, creed, or color.
We lost those who marched alongside Dr. Martin Luther King, too. Reverends C.T. Vivian and Joseph Lowry.
We ask you to help us work for that day
Lowry
when black will not be asked to get back,
gave the benediction
when brown can stick around,
at President Obama's inauguration.
when yellow will be mellow, when the red man can get ahead, man, and when white will embrace what is right. Say amen.
Rayford Johnson, who was the first Black American to captain the United States Olympic team in 1960, left us this year. His triumphant win in the decathlon is still talked about to this day. Rock and roll certainly wasn't immune to racism.
When I came on the scene, black and white was segregated in dances and shows.
Little Richard couldn't always stay or eat where the white performers did, but his fans were of all colors.
And Barney! And the best new artist is...
His energy was boundless, and so was his humor.
Me. I have never received nothing. You all never gave me no Grammy. And I've been singing for years.
What are you afraid of?
The Black Americans we celebrate, like Jackie Robinson, James Brown, Thurgood Marshall surely would have been proud of Chadwick Boseman, who portrayed the mole.
That's the reason why you act. You want to be able to actually identify with the characters that you play and explore humanity.
Gender equality lost some of its superheroes too.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore.
Helen Reddy offered the soundtrack for the fight that she herself waged.
I am strong, strong. I am invincible, invincible. I am woman.
But there were few champions for women as influential as Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I do not see myself at all as a legend. I see myself as a person who tries very hard to be a good judge.
In her 27 years on the Supreme Court, she expanded rights for women as well as men, small in stature, a giant for us all.
I will do this job as long as I feel that I can do it full steam.
I am woman.
The only thing tougher than Justice Ginsburg was the cancer that took her at 87.
For all minorities, for all people, it's just a never-ending battle to fight against the powers that be to prove our worth and our place.
The fight for equality took all forms. AIDS activist and playwright Larry Kramer was often brash, but effective.
Most of the country doesn't know about this cancer.
Why?
Well, I think it's because it's a gay cancer.
He fought tirelessly, pressing the government and the public to care more about the gay community, much the way playwright Mark Crowley did.
Homosexuality was just not talked about.
It took him 50 years to see his portrayal of gay life, The Boys in the Band, finally make it to Broadway.
It's just generally about the human spirit. Suddenly they aren't just gay people anymore, they're just people.
Few wrote that storyline better than playwright Terrence McNally, whose tales of love of all kinds won him 5 Tony Awards, including one
tonight is overwhelming
for Lifetime Achievement.
Thank you.
One more dance.
Broadway has been dark for months now,
One more song.
but we pause to give thanks to all the creatives we lost.
That's why I'm here where I belong. One more song, one more dance, 2 good reasons, and one more chance.
Performers couldn't play in front of live audiences this year, and that made us miss their talents all the more.
When I get to heaven, I'm going to shake God's hand. I'm going to thank him for more blessings than one man can stand.
Especially legends like folk singer John Prine.
Ain't the afterlife grand? Then I'm going to get a cocktail, vodka and ginger ale.
With his nasal, raspy voice, he was often compared to Bob Dylan, who himself was a fan.
Well, I consider myself a writer, so I thought, why can't I be any character I want to be?
In whatever genre, country or pop, the bourbon-smooth voice of Kenny Rogers brought us ballads about gamblers and lost souls searching for love.
I'm not a great singer, but I'm a storyteller. If a song moves me, I can make it move other people.
Country music was largely an all-white venue.
You've got to kiss an angel good morning.
Until Charlie Pride came along.
Love her like the devil when you get back home.
His records were huge sellers. He just won a CMA Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you so much.
His music nourished our souls the way a good meal nourishes the body. And few were better at that than Cecilia Chang.
This entire room is devoted to dumplings. This is what heaven is like.
That's right, that's right.
Often called the mother of Chinese food in America, her cooking must have been pretty healthy because she lived to be 100.
I'm what you call a lucky duck.
Damn it, old baby, spicy Slim Jim.
Slim Jims weren't necessarily healthy. Lon Adams didn't intend for them to be, but he sure knew how to package them in ways pretty hard to forget.
Oh, yeah.
Artist Christo took presentation to new heights.
I think the artist should do the things he likes to do.
He saw all the world as a package to be wrapped. But if you're gonna dress up a landmark, nothing summed up a whole city better than Milton Glazer's I Heart New York logo. It actually changed the way we say love. He died on his 91st birthday. We lost a bit of magic too this year, starting with showman Roy Horn, half of the Siegfried and Roy duo, whose entertaining mix of magic and exotic animals dazzled the Las Vegas Strip for decades.
We have been called crazy, outrageous. Now they call us colorful and eccentric.
Miss Frizzle was certainly colorful and eccentric. She was the fictional teacher who drove the magic school bus to the delight of every child who read it. Her creator, author Joanna Cole, used her brand of magic to take kids to space, even inside the human body.
In just a few moments, we'll be landing in Arnold's stomach. Thank you for flying Digestion Airways.
Okay, so this is the experimental test setup for the myth that if you drink a bunch of Diet Coke and eat a bunch of Mentos, your stomach will explode.
Grant Imahara, one of the hosts of Discovery's Mythbusters, proved that science can answer all sorts of mysteries, like how to get to the moon. NASA's Katherine Johnson figured that out, calculating just the right trajectory that got astronauts there and back, including Alfred Worden, one of those who certainly had all the right stuff. But it was Chuck Yeager,
Through the sound barrier, the first time ever,
who defined just what that meant.
If things flown apart on us, we would auger it in with the airplane. We looked at it differently then than we do now, and that was your job, and you went ahead and flew it.
He made testing the limits his life.
I figured that the airplane wouldn't bite me without giving me some sort of warning, and it worked out.
The World War II fighter ace and Air Force general was 97. Speaking of the sound barrier, few cracked it like rocker Eddie Van Halen. He was a true guitar hero. But he died from cancer at only 65. We lost Rush drummer Neil Peart to cancer as well. He was to some the Van Halen of the drums. His highly technical solos were really a thing to behold.
I'd like you to meet our very charming little drummer, Viola Smith.
Years before Peart, however, there was Viola Smith, hailed as the fastest girl drummer in the world. She played her drum kit wearing sequins. But when it came to percussion, Ian Finkel says he stood alone. He was the world's greatest xylophonist, he says, because he was one of the few left until COVID took him at age 72. COVID also took Ellis Marsalis, the great jazz pianist who gave us a whole family of musicians, including Wynton Marsalis, the musician behind our theme song every Sunday morning. If there was ever a year we needed a laugh, this one was certainly it. One of the greats could even make the morbid funny.
First thing in the morning, before I have coffee, I read the obits.
Seriously?
Yes, if I'm not in it, I'll have breakfast.
Carl Reiner was a comedian in his own right, but he made other people funny too, as a writer, producer, and director.
I think about how I'd like to go. I'd like to go to my sleep. What a show this would be if I was talking to you.
Spam, 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 baked beans, spam, 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 and spam.
There's funny, and then there's the absurd. Terry Jones, co-founder of Monty Python's Flying Circus, took his irreverent brand of humor to side-splitting extremes.
How are we today?
Better.
Better?
Better get a bucket. I'm gonna throw up.
Contrast that with the gentleness of Walt Disney's entertainment. But when it came to Snow White, he couldn't have done it without Marge Champion.
Everything she does with her hands or her dances or picking up her dress, that's me.
She was the dancer they used to draw those graceful moves. Snow White looked so real because she was.
Doobie doobie
We lost the creators of Scooby-Doo, too. Both of them, within months of each other. Joe Ruby and Ken Spears envisioned a gang of teenagers and an ever-hungry Great Dane teaming up to solve ghostly mysteries.
I could say there's good trash and there's bad trash.
Bad trash.
Bad trash are just shows that aren't well executed.
Scooby-Doo was commissioned by Fred Silverman, a top executive at CBS, as well as ABC and NBC. He was one of the most powerful people in the industry, also behind hits like All in the Family and Laverne and Shirley, which lost one of its stars, too, this year.
Hello.
David Lander, best known as Squiggy, left us at 73. To all those who gave us plenty to watch, we bid a fond TV farewell.
But out of that, a new holiday was born. A Festivus for the rest of us.
Holidays are tough without the ones we love, unless, that is, you celebrate Festivus.
You gather your family around and tell them all the ways they have disappointed you over the past year.
At 92, Jerry Stiller, the father of actor Ben Stiller, is celebrating his invented holiday somewhere else this year.
Let's go into the Jeopardy round. Festivus.
For 37 years, Alex Trebek gave us the answers to questions yet posed as the unflappable host of Jeopardy.
It's the perfect television presentation of the great American dream.
He was a fixture in our living rooms. His cancer, however, left us all asking why him and why so soon.
Sounds impressive. I've got stage 4 cancer. Okay, not stage 1 for sissies. That's just beginner's cancer. I've got advanced.
Why are you making me laugh about it?
Well, what else are we gonna do?
I would like to ask a favor of Regis.
Can I ask a favor of you, Alex? Is this thing working?
But when it came to naming the most versatile TV personality, the Jeopardy answer would have to be, who is Regis Philbin?
Excuse me. Excuse me, I'm with Charles now.
He could do anything with anyone.
More?
No matter the audience.
Charles Osgood is wearing me out.
Do you understand the future, my future, in this business depends on one name?
Yes.
He was everywhere on TV, logging thousands of hours of airtime. Everyone knew him simply as Regis.
Some people like a little anonymity in their lives, but it's very hard to do when you're on every day.
Bond. James Bond.
Another single name.
007 is here, sir.
Defined for generations just what it means to be both dangerous and suave.
I'm flattered.
Sean Connery set the standard for all the 007s who would follow.
I suppose I'll be able to get a drink here.
I told the stewardess, liquor for 3.
Who are the other 2?
Oh, there are no other 2.
But the life of a real British spy is something a little less glamorous. Author John le Carré should know because, well, he was one.
With the Bond type of novel, the reader thinks, I wish I was him. With the stuff I'm writing, they think, oh Christ, I hope I'm not him. So
he turned his career experiences into a host of spy thrillers. But his heroes weren't always flanked by Bond-type beauties.
Margaret Nolan, who gave us the world-famous Goldfinger image, passed away at 76. So did her fellow actress in Goldfinger, Honor Blackman.
You can turn off the charm. I'm immune.
But it was Dame Diana Rigg who captivated the secret agent so much that 007 finally tied the knot.
What made you want to be a Bond girl?
Oh, come on. Who wouldn't?
Rigg would years later go on to captivate a new generation.
Tell Sassy.
In Game of Thrones.
I wanted to know it was me.
This is a very old and honorable profession, and you should have a sense of privilege about being in it, because we answer a very profound need in society.
Some of those who answered that need enjoyed the longest lives.
Oh, my dear, I've waited so long.
Olivia de Havilland, who was immortalized in Gone with the Wind and went on to become a treasured screen actress, left us at the age of 104.
Whatever comes, I'll love you just as I do now, until I die.
That's star quality.
Kirk Douglas, the original chiseled chin, had a commanding, often muscular presence in just about everything he did. He made it to 103.
For the first time in my life, people cheering for me.
To all those who took us somewhere we couldn't go ourselves, we bid a fond goodbye.
I suppose in the end, the whole of life becomes an act of letting go. But what always hurts the most is not taking a moment to say goodbye.
Journalism lost some of its brightest stars, too.
Jesus, it's like show business.
You might know PBS's Jim Lehrer from the PBS NewsHour, but he was also known.
My job is to keep things fair and the subjects as clear and as varied as possible.
For his skill in moderating presidential debates. We lost him this year.
As well as journalist and author Gail Sheehy. She gave us a roadmap to adult life.
I had to know what was going to happen at the next stage and the next stage and the next stage.
Our family here at CBS News is a bit smaller this year.
Bert Quint took us around the world as a foreign correspondent.
Bert Quint, CBS News, Rome.
Bill Small was CBS's tireless Washington bureau chief through the Civil Rights Movement, Watergate, and Vietnam.
And Maria Mercader, a network news veteran. She was one of the earliest victims of COVID, and she was a friend to us all. For all its faults, 2020 did remind us of the gift of giving. Doris Buffett, the elder sister to billionaire Warren Buffett, gave her money, as well as his, to good causes everywhere.
I just feel like I have a job to do. And if I do it right, other people are there are going to be hundreds, thousands of homes that will be improved. Children will have chances. Women will have chances.
We're living in tough times. We need hope.
Art dealer Forrest Fenn sent people scampering through the Rocky Mountains looking for a chest full of gold nuggets and jewels that he had hidden for anyone to find. After 10 years, someone finally found his treasure just 3 months before Fenn died.
We need to know that somewhere out there there's a rainbow with a pot of gold at the end of it.
If there's any treasure the rest of us can bank on after this dark year,
I can see clearly now the rain is gone.
it's that courage and kindness usually triumph in the end.
I can see all obstacles in my way.
Johnny Nash, who left us at 80 this year, sang of a bright, sunshiny day. While the sun isn't out just yet, the hope is that it's just over the horizon. To all of those with the courage to walk, or run, or march toward a better tomorrow, we are forever in your debt. To all of them, we say thank you and offer a fond hail and farewell.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. It's gonna be a bright